Welcome to Extra Scale Modelling. This is part 2 of Italeri Operation Silver Bayonet, scale 172. Now, as you can see in the box, if you haven't watched part 1, this is a diorama series build log, and I'm going to be building each component individually and doing videos for each component. So for part 2, I'm going to be starting on the gunship, the UHIC gunship, which is the Huey. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So I'm beginning with the interior of the helicopter, and the main colour I'm using is Rebel Arc colour 43 medium grey for this. Now this is just the block colours. Same with the seat. It's the surrounding area of the seat is the same grey colour. Now if you watched my video before, you know I generally do this to start with anyway. One paint on sprue and two, I get all the block colours in when possible. This just saves a lot of time and drying time. I systematically look at the build and see what colours need to be going down first, get them all painted in, and then I'll move on to the detail and colour. So by the time I go back to the paint, the part I've painted and it needs the new colour, everything is dry and I can carry on. Here I'm using Rebel Arc colour 3150 red. Now this is for the seat covers, the back padding for the benches, and also I'll be using this colour for the main seats as well. Now I wasn't sure whether it should be a leather colour, a dark brown, a black, and I looked at several pictures and a lot of them have the red colour, so that's the choice I've gone for. I should say though, the instructions are calling for an olive drab colour for these particular parts, but I did like the red, and a lot of people that have on the builds have done the red, and some of the actual photos of the aircraft have a red colour as well. So I'm not sure whether that's 100% accurate or not, but I do like the contrast. As I said, the seats are receiving the same colour, and I think it really does set off the grey quite nicely. On the back support, there's a little rail that runs along the top of the fabric, and I decided to paint that in Rebel Aqua colour 93 copper. Again, not necessarily the correct colour, maybe it should be a steel or another grey colour, but if it was all grey and that, it would just all look bland and nothing would stand out. So I think it's important with miniature models, if you're painting them, yeah, it's good to get authenticity, of course, but you want to see that detail coming out, hence why slightly different colours are getting used. And for the seat belts on the pilot seat, I'm using Rebel colour 45 light olive. Now the light olive is the actual colour for I was suggested for the padding and the seats itself, as well as the seat belts, but as you can see, if I use the same colour, it would all just blend into one. So you can get a better idea of the bench seat belts, the different colours and contrasts. Then it's onto the Sentinel instrument panel. Just painting again the block colours, and I'm using Rebel Arc colour 69 granite grey for this. Of course you can't paint it black, but the darker greys I think gives it more of a softer look to the area than a flat black that the instructions are calling for. For the bare metal parts, like the foot pedals here, I'm using a combination of Rebel Arc colour 90 silver and Rebel Arc colour 91 steel. Different variations on the metallic colour, of course, but again, that helps bring out the detail. And for the controller grips and things like that, it's back to normal with the Rebel Arc colour 08 matte black. And the main instrument panel is the same colour as the central column, the 69 granite grey. And for the dials, it's Rebel Arc colour 05 white. And I'm applying this with a cocktail stick to give me better control instead of a brush. So you can get a bit of view from this angle. The cocktail stick method is really good for these tiny little bits of detail that you need to paint in. I can now get around to assembly. So the first little part going in are two little side walls where the pedals go. These should just slot in. They fit's quite good. They're just a little bit awkward to place in, but of course that's going to be the nature of a 172 build. Next are the foot pedals. Now I put them slightly in the wrong position. They go in between well, also the footwell where the wall I just placed in. I had them sitting up slightly too proud, but I do move them. Unfortunately, my hands are going to get in the way quite a lot on this build because of the small parts, but you can just about make them out there. So next is the control system going in. There's two of these, and they sit next to the central column. There is a nice little location point for the sitting. They do actually go in at an angle, of course, but the part does allow for that. And the second one sits on the outer edge of the footwell. And now I'm just readjusting the pedals. As I said, I put them up too far. They were sitting too proudly, so I'm just moving them before it sets. Moving now onto the back bench and the bulkhead that makes up for that. This is a straightforward fit. It fit really nicely. Sometimes these little L-shaped fittings can be quite not as tight as you would like them, but this one is really tight and square. And then it's time to fit the front seats. You can see the bracket it sits onto. It's quite high and raised. It should just fit on top, and that allows for the proper angle of the two seats to sit into. Next is the central instrument panel, and that just goes on top of the main control panel between the seats. Sorry about the camera angle. I didn't realise I was slightly off camera while I was building this. The back bench is now set, so I can place that into its sitting. There is a little location point just for it to sit in. I always place the back in first, then just press it down to the front. There's quite a lot of level of detail in this little cockpit. It was a nice little cockpit to build. I'm just painting the outer parts of the helicopter with 45 light olive red aqua colour. This is because I will be putting in the clear plastic parts soon. So to save off masking, I'm just starting to apply the colour. Now this will actually take 1 or 2 coats to deepen this colour, but the initial colour is the important one before I place on the windows. So moving on to the rotating mechanism, there's a couple of little bits to make up here, the housing and the rotator itself. Now this can have full movement if you wish, so just be careful of your cement placement, of course, if you do want full movement. I'm using the Tamiya extra thin cement here because of that. So first of all, I'm placing in the little locking area before placing the main column, and as you can see, it just sits centrally inside the housing, and then that just gets closed off. So it's time to place in the windows, and I'm using micro crystal clear for my glue. Obviously this is a canopy glue, which doesn't affect the clear plastic, and of course it's clear. Now I find this easier to apply with the cocktail stick, but of course you can use a brush if you so wish. So once I've laid down the cement or the canopy glue, it's time to place in the windows. There's a few windows to go in, but they fitted really well, and that you don't have to paint the window because all the joints are on the framework, hence why I painted the framework area before adding the windows. So back to the rotary mechanism, and I'm painting that up now. And the main colour is red aqua 43 medium grey, it's the same as the cockpit. And then once more, I'm using a combination of red aqua 90 silver and red aqua 91 steel for the rotation arms and mechanism. I should point out the 91 steel goes on quite dark, but it actually dries to a more metallic finish. It seems to go a little bit lighter once you paint it. So if you're using this paint, just remember it doesn't stay as dark as that for some reason. To fit the rotator mechanism is fairly straightforward. It gets anchored to the back of the bulkhead of the seat initially. There's a nice deep location point for this to sit into. And once it was dry, I was able then to fit it inside the fuselage. It fit, again, it fits really nice. The contour lines where it sits on are very well adjusted into balance to hold the plate. Just make sure you haven't got any paint build up on the underside of this, because it's going to affect the depth. I found that just even a couple of little microns will make it sort of too proud all over the main structure, which can look a bit unsightly. You may find it helpful to use a clamp on that part as well, just to keep it down. It depends whether you just want to hold it or not. The assembly of the second part, again, it was nice and easy to do. I concentrated on the tail end first, secured that before moving on to the cockpit area. And as I'm doing this is where I'll end part 2. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. Subscribe to the channel, please do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell, that way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build but on my other builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.